After being introduced to my new friend Barb. Conjure Flame Tactics works every time. Level 3 spell. And no, you can't mention Spectral Weapon. That one is off limits. We don't talk about Spectral Weapon. Good thing I have a backup Amulet of Guardian Spirit. If an Amulet Gnome steals it from me, I will be ready. Identify. Do these singleton scrolls. I kind of wish I had read Identify on that. That's somewhat useful, especially around this stage of the game. At some point, it becomes kind of more useful to what? What are my unID'd? What is the toggle? It's minus, right? Experience, flight, or haste. Well, I'm not gonna potentially waste haste. What is this Griff? Cloud immunity. I mean, at this point, I don't think we're gonna see. Well, it could theoretically be useful. How badly would I want Faith? I mean, Guardian Spirit is actually still pretty good and kind of what I'm going to hang on to, really. It's the smart amulet. It's not the sexy amulet, but it's the smart one. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Then to top it all off, he sets up. He fireballs himself. There we go. Look at that. What a pro. Wood nymphs. I don't know. As far as fan service goes, I like water nymphs a lot. I don't know that I want to say. Okay, if it's like, as long as they're not made of wood, if they're just like, you know, sexy nude imps with, or nymphs with green hair, sure. This is a classic remix by the great Arrival, who has some really awesome. You should check out all his Mega Man 2 remixes. They're pretty old at this point, but they're all cool. They're all really neat. This one, I think, is my favorite one. It's just the most creative. No, see, I disagree. He's got a Flashman remix that's really good. His metal, his Bubble Man and Flashman and Bubble Man remixes are my favorite. His Metal Man one is not bad, but it's probably my least favorite, and this one is my favorite. He made these like, God, these must be like 15 years old by now. Just crazy. Well, maybe not that old, but they're, well, they might be that old, honestly. Dodging, fighting. Let me get some more dodge. Oh wow, this snake is not about stepping in Conjure Flame. Snake, water moccasin, smarter than Hydra. Video's from 2009, yeah. Well, the video is long after the remix, even, because so the remix is older than that. That's just the OC remix video, which those didn't exist at the time that remix was released, I'm pretty sure. So I bet that remix is back from like early 2000s. Just random trivia. I think that was one of the remixes that got me to even know about OC remix, because I heard it and I was like, wow, that's a cool remix. And that's why I happened to mention it. Of course, as we know, most OC remixes leave a lot to be desired, but every now and again you'll hear one. Yeah, go ahead. Step right there. just like every other stupid animal in this branch, step right into the Conjure Flame. Go right ahead. It's like I'm babysitting a bunch of dumb animals. Except when you babysit something, you don't generally kill it and resurrect its zombie for the purpose of killing its siblings. But it's kind of a loose analogy. Where is that vault? Oh yeah, all the way in there. That is convenient. It's going to be a pretty easy level because the vault is nice and sequestered away from like the rest of the level. Interesting layout actually. What kind of sort of a big square. It's almost cross-like. Looks like maybe it had a concentric circle type layout, but the vault, well, the vault might have a circular overall shape, but it's definitely not all this, that's for sure, because it's actually quite a small vault. It integrates really nicely into most layouts. Is this slug smart enough? Are you the slug? No, you are not. You're not the chosen one. You are not smart enough to not step in Conjure Flame. Machine learning. Now the rule is we want relatively simple to understand monster AI and allow the monsters to kind of combine both in number and in terms of what effects they might have, be it speed, you know, obviously defensive profile, things like ranged attacks or debuffs. But to have the AI be relatively simple because it seems to play the most fun. And the problem with really smart or smarter AI is it tends to be very, well, video gamey. I mean, so does the simple AI, if you want to be perfectly clear about it. Saying it's video gamey isn't really accurate, but it's you can game really smart AI with like elaborate tactics, and it becomes a kind of little dance. For some of the smarter AI that's in Crawl, you can kind of see this, like the way monsters use corners, the way monsters kind of duck out of Los if you're using a ranged attack, how you can use that to cheese them, because maybe a monster has a nasty attack, but you know that if you hit it with ranged, it will back off Los and then pop into Los. You can hit it again, it'll back out of Los, and thus preventing you from getting hit by its attack. Stuff like that tends to, it's pretty tough to implement really, you know, more complicated AI that really leads to non-cheesy gameplay. So Crawl takes another approach, which is just sort of make a bunch of monsters and make their combinations okay. Guess I'm just gonna actually make the way they combine sort of interesting is what I'm trying to say. Well, I don't really quite know what I'm doing here because it's not really effective. I guess I can go ahead and channel, but hey, good choice. Thank you, Spire. What a pro Spire. MVP. He knew exactly which yak to shoot. Well, I guess that's because I had attacked it with my quarterstaff, so I guess I'm the pro, thus giving him a target. Oh yeah. Do I know which way he's going to? Got him. Hey, we got another Are you smarter than a torpor slug? I mean, it's not to say you can build an awesome game with some really good AI. You know, Syl, I know, has some cool things that orcs can do. Even in Infra Arcana, monsters have like some regrouping behaviors that I don't actually fully understand, and hence they seem like they're kind of cool. If I better understood them and paid attention to them, they probably could be gamed. Ooh. I can Sif cast. So I haven't used Sif cast yet, although I actually lost it because I was using channel a lot. So Sif's piety gain has been changed. The tricky part about divine knowledge is that you want to make sure you have the piety to cast it. So that's been an issue because I've been channeling and not being too shy about resting up. So Faith might not actually be so bad on Sif, just so I could Sif cast a lot more. Not that Guardian Spirit is bad. Let's try on this amulet. Okay, that's Gourmand. We don't like that. Now, Magic Regen is a convenient amulet. It's not a particularly good one, but it is kind of convenient. I have RF. I have RC. This is definitely from the vault. Hello. I don't know how much. So the problem is, I don't think stuff patrols in here, but this does a decent job of like keeping the monsters contained because there's enough walls to prevent noise from leading as much stuff out of the vault. So I tend to find that monsters are pretty well kind of tucked away in this one. So there are different intelligences that monsters have, and it does change their AI, particularly when they will walk into damaging things. Human intelligence is the highest intelligence. Animal intelligence is the second lowest. Brainless is like what slime creatures have. What's up, Celerity? Yep, I finally sat down to do something about Sif's power level and kind of lack of flair. I thought about this one after thinking about a bunch of stuff. A lot of proposed ideas that had kind of come out of the woodwork, but this one, after kind of thinking about it, this one I got to after thinking about miscast protection, because miscast protection is one of those things that it's kind of cool, but the design of it was just bad because it's so hard to like reason about it. It was such a hassle to get it to work how you want because it would be piety based. Now you could change that, but it's also hard to evaluate. And I thought, you know what would be more interesting? Just turn it into an active and let people cast spells. And there are some problems with the ability. There's definitely like decision paralysis that you get from it. Oh, I don't have it anymore. Well, but I think of all the ones proposed, yeah, it's quite high. So it's Sanctuary. So it's not a spammable thing. The idea is like not so much that you're going to use this to cast a bunch of lower, maybe mid-level spells. All right. So one thing you should say about it though is that you can use it to cast spells you could already cast, because you do get a significant power boost from invocations. Like it says, Invo is worth the bonus from Invo. It's not counted as part of one of the required skills. It's just a straight bonus. So if you have 0 training, say you want to cast Triple X and you have 0 summons, you'll get a spell power that you're not going to have anything from summons. You're going to have what you have from spell casting. You'll have what you have from int, but you'll get a bonus that's equivalent to the skill you would get of, say, if you had 10 Invo, the bonus to spell power you get it would be as if you had 15 summoning, because Invo is worth 50% more, and if you have 10 levels of Invo. And that gets added on top to whatever skill you have in the relevant schools, and again, the other sources, so it's just a straight bonus. So it's a pretty significant bonus to like spell power, and it makes those spells usable even if you have no training, because I did want it to be usable for quite a variety of spells, not just ones you might train a skill for. Yeah, it is going to get a rename. Wish is that sort of works. E-Bearing, another crawl dev, suggested something about, I asked him for like alternatives about knowledge and reading, and he suggested a couple like sort of fancier literary names. Exegesis, which is typically associated with like, you know, the study of the Bible, but it's actually a general term. And there was another one that he had too, but exegesis is the most specific to like actual, it's like about critical reading of texts, so I'll probably call it something like that. Yeah, divine knowledge is just very generic. Spell wish is something that would probably be better, but it sounds a little I guess I don't like the idea of it, but yeah, that is sort of like what it is too. It's kind of like, you know, you're wishing for the spell. Conjure flame, everyone. Conjure frickin' flame. And now I'm barbed. Is this guy standing in fire? Hell yes. The ability, huh? E-Bearing likes the fancy. You saw what he named the vampire abilities. Distracted, you're gonna die. So we got the 10 fighting, we got the 10 dodging. I sort of guess I'm going for Firestorm, because why not? It's fun to cast Firestorm, isn't it? Oh yeah. Yeah, go ahead. You stand in the flame. Brilliant. You barred me again, you jerk. Oof. He's probably gonna move out of it. Oh, he might. I'm too barbed. Oh, but what if I go for the power play, ladies and gentlemen? Throwing net. Wow. Wow. Huge. Huge plays. Absolutely huge play. Amazing. I like how I don't have any spell levels. Call Imp. Big Train, Mantart. Funny if Trog had low vocabulary. Yeah, everybody always thinks of Trog that way. Wow, I just don't have a lot of spellcasting trained. But I don't really feel like training spellcasting right now. I guess we can get rid of Call Imp. Call Imp is actually still good, but I would like to have regen. Well, we got some friends, and that's possibly the end of the vault, although, well, maybe not. Nope, I spoke too soon. Oh, there's Mr. Katoble. Gonna set up a spire. Set up a fire. Oh, I don't like you. Nice. Look at that. Yeah, these walls, Hangman did a good job in this vault making it like, I feel like that's what sort of happens, is it kind of pulls you into the vault. Because the noise gets attenuated and a lot of the other stuff doesn't really... I mean, if it came all pouring out, that would be bad, but you would sort of... you would kind of peel it off. I think it would be a good splash image of like a rendition of Trog sitting down near like a fire with like an axe leaned against a rock, and him trying to read a book entitled like Sif Muna's Tome of Love, but like he can't read and he's holding the book upside down and there's like confusion marks on his face. Holy Christ. Every time with this. Every time with the barb. Damn it. He's not really wounded that much. I can't really let this guy melee me. He's definitely going to move there. Oh, well. So much for my predictions of where he will move. Hadn't countered on counted. You know, hitting him with that staff is slightly dangerous because I could have like healed him or something. in retrospect. Asking for it. Aha. Got a mummy game without the spider's nest. Who doesn't like getting confused by tarantulas as a mummy? It's pretty fun. So it's gonna hit me with fires, so I guess I'll kind of preemptively do that. Sure will burn another acid wand charge. Once again, Barbara shows up to the party unwanted. There it is. Finally we're done. Yeah, but this... Oh, not exactly the trove of... Yeah, so it really is a switchback type thing. I call it a... Well, I guess that's probably the best name. And yeah, it is. Okay. It is actually pretty circular because it's a little bit bigger than I thought. That explains that. Well. Whoa. Wait, what? Oh. Huh. Hopefully this won't get me one shot. Magic map. Giant weapon. Good old Jiva. Nope. Nobody really guessed it. Nobody gets the prize. Guess we'll just have to live on with food for the rest of our lives and crawl. Now'd be a good time to examine my I'm gonna go pick up the identify scrolls and oh, hello. Down he goes. I didn't even really get to meth him. I just... What happens... Oh, do I have poisonous vapors? No. So I meffed him and he's like, okay, well now I'll step into the cloud, because if he's already in a bad cloud, they'll step into one, so... Yeah. But yeah, you can even do that with meth. Something that's easy to forget. There's another wand, a wand of acid. Definitely want to pick that up. We could go check out that glowing hat, but just a magic. Certainly good. I just don't necessarily want to bankrupt myself. This okay, let's get this other one. Oh, it's got two. Put that on there. No haste. And book of ring of wizardry. Yeah, that's good. Unknown. Wait, huh? Oh, it's just interesting. Okay, so that was identified. And the ring of int, but kind of an expensive 3 points of int. As of yet, I don't really need, boy. I feel like, I don't know, her piety gain still feels oddly sort of slow. Then again, I'm resting a ton, but I can't be sure, but I am positive that I changed it. Because I removed the denominator aspect from her. And yeah, she appreciates. Yep, I remember how it was implemented. I'll still go back and look at it. It's hard to, it could just be the fact that, you know, my profile of resting and stuff, but I guess I have been using channel a good deal. See, you compare it to Vehement, but you have no actives with Veh, so you're just gaining piety. You really, there's no way you can lose it. So I think that's really what it is. I'm using channel fairly liberally, so that's the kind of the counterplay. So I would like Faith a little bit more with Sif. Before Faith was just like thing like, yeah, I do it to get spells. But you know, for playing to win, I wouldn't really do it. It's just be like maybe if I'm being lazy, I have a really good character and I don't care. But now I'd actually kind of prefer it because I'd eventually you'll get a spell good enough where casting it without having to train for it and it being high level enough means it's worth it.